This is the Fox 11 10 o'clock news.
She was addicted to heroin on the streets as a prostitute, but somehow Lori Burns escaped, put her life back together.
She is now helping to rescue other girls who've fallen into sex trafficking. Gina Silva continues our series, The Youngest Victims.
There were so many girls on the street that were killed on the street. People that I knew, people that I worked the streets with. There were so many girls that had AIDS. The thought of getting out just didn't even exist.
Lori Burns is a survivor with an amazing story to tell.
If you could imagine being like 18, 19 years old and on the street and knowing nobody's looking for you and nobody's coming, I mean, day after day, it just wears on you.
Burns was a foster kid, and when she aged out of the system, she suddenly found herself homeless. That's when her older sister turned her onto prostitution.
I started prostituting when I was 19 years old, and I continued to prostitute until I was almost 23 years old. And I was almost dead. I mean, I was just horribly destroyed, mentally and physically.
She was arrested multiple times. Still, Burns could not give up that life. She remembers one night, two men picked her up and drove her to an isolated area. They beat and raped her.
After a couple of times having that gun to my head and being beat up real bad, I thought, you know what, Lori? You don't have anything to live for anyway. You've always wanted to die. I mean, I'd been suicidal ever since I was a little girl. And I thought, oh my God, now's your time, Lori. Kill me! Like as loud as I could, just kill me! Like, do it already, thinking they're going to take the gun and boom, it's going to be over. And I scared them. So they beat me up and they left me unconscious on the side of the canyon road.
She survived, says the near-death experience brought on a spiritual awakening. Burns decided that night to seek help. 27 years later.
I'm going to give you my card because I used to be on the street myself. You have my phone number.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't want to use it, give it to somebody else and say, girlfriend, call this lady. So now I've spent my life since that day, since my life was saved, going back on the street and finding all of the other children that are left out there and bringing them back and giving them what I was given, a safe place to live, a sober, safe place to live, and schooling so that they can get an education.
This is one of those safe places. Freehab, a shelter in the San Fernando Valley for victims of sex trafficking. The women get food, shelter, counseling, detox, and training for a career.
When people ask what we do, I say we're a parent to the parentless. We go find the kids that think nobody's coming because if we're coming to get them.
Lori says foster kids, runaways, and troubled teens are the most at risk for sex trafficking.
I think if people knew how bad this problem was, they would be astounded. And most people think it only occurs in other countries. It's here. It's in our neighborhoods. It's everywhere. We had one little girl who was sold into sex trafficking with her foster sister. The little girl that we have got arrested, and when she got arrested, she told the police what happened and she got out. This was several years ago. The little sister's still there.
And remember Kay and Shaylin, who shared their horrific stories?
I was living in a world that was just nothing but just ugliness.
I thought that I was going to die on the streets and kind of wished for it.
They were taken in by Lori, and now they're on their way to transforming their lives.
I just made a choice and said, you know, I'm tired, and I walked away.
I think Lori is amazing. My dream is to do and be what Lori is. So that's the woman I want to follow in her footsteps.
And this is my family.
I'm so grateful to have such a nice and beautiful facility and so much opportunity here.
I truly believe that my life was saved on that canyon road that night to be right here. And the only way we're going to fix this thing is to start picking up the kids, because the kids are like 1% of our population, but they're 100% of our future.
Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.